Rosanna, hello! Welcome to the 20-minute cooking school. This is Claire Tansey's kitchen. It is 1 p.m., which is really Eastern Daylight Savings Time, which is not the time that I normally do this. I normally do this at 4, but look, I'll show you what's happening. Finally, today, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, this, which you can't see, there it is. See that hole? There's the giant hole. It's going to be filled by my new kitchen hood. We have been without a kitchen hood for so long. I don't even want to tell you. Okay, have I effed this up? Anyway, so we're doing it at 1 o'clock, and we're making okonomiyaki. Was that too much? So we're making okonomiyaki. What is okonomiyaki, you ask? It's an excellent question. Does anybody know what it actually means? I don't. Something Japanese. It's basically a giant Japanese cabbage omelet. But you know, when you say cabbage omelet, it doesn't sound so good. So go with okonomiyaki instead. We're making this. It starts with 6 eggs. I'm making this because I needed a vegetarian dinner. Do you know what I mean? We're just coming off the Easter long weekend, and we had like burgers, then we had sausages, then we had short ribs, then we had meat pie. So it was very meat heavy week, and I just felt kind of just, that's how I felt, basically like an eggshell on the floor. I felt kind of disgusting. So we're going full vegetarian all week, and okonomiyaki is one of those dishes that I kind of forget about. It's like, oh, you know, you're trucking along in your ordinary life, and then suddenly you go, what? Okonomiyaki, how can I forget about okonomiyaki? It's so good. But what is it? Well, like I said, it's a cabbage omelet. It's vegetarian, so don't add that. And so that's 6 eggs. And we're gonna add some, oh, come on, man. Everything's out of place. Where are my tablespoons? Whew. So now I'm gonna add some soy sauce. There's flour in this, so we're not going to get to be gluten-free at all in this particular movie. We're gonna add some, oh, there's the oven. The oven's on at 350, and I have a little onion thing on me. What was that? That was a little bit of soy sauce. I'm gonna put in a little bit of white vermouth. Officially, you would probably want to use like a rice wine, like Japanese rice wine or Chinese rice wine, which I never have. So I'm just gonna add vermouth. Honestly, you can just use water. If you don't want to waste, if you have dry white wine in the fridge, you can use that, or just use water. You just need a little bit of liquid there, and I need a little bit of flavor. That's that. How about a whisk? A whisk. So that's really just eggs. I'm gonna whisk that up. Whisk it up better than that. And the thing that makes this different from just like a straight up omelet is that there's a flour mixture that goes in here, and it kind of helps to make the cabbage omelet, the okonomiyaki, kind of puff up just a little bit. So it's a cup of flour, and don't go with the whole wheat because it doesn't work the same. You need the gluten, you need the action, and trust me, there is enough fiber in the cabbage that is coming up that you do not need to worry about not having enough fiber. So skip the whole wheat this time. A teaspoon of baking powder. And yes, I will be posting the recipe, don't you even worry. Cayenne, I'm gonna go for. There isn't a chance on this gorgeous earth that my child will eat this tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make it for us. So pinch of cayenne as much as you want. Little, lot, none. A little bit of that action. Okay, so that's just the flour and baking powder. And then the other magical ingredient in this is one of my favorite grocery store cheats. It's coleslaw mix. Coleslaw mix, bag of coleslaw mix, and I'm talking like the ordinary plain stuff. This is just like, it's not the fancy broccoli slaw, it's not the like, I don't know, any of the other fancy slaws. There's like that power blend. You can use those, by all means you can use those, but this happened to be 50% off today, so I thought I'm gonna use just plain old coleslaw mix. Nothing added to it. It is literally a combination of green cabbage, red cabbage, and carrots. Very, very plain. But the best part about using coleslaw mix is that you don't have to chop the cabbage. Now, nothing against chopping cabbage. I think it's an excellent way to hone your knife skills if you happen to have a day free. in your life with nothing else to do. First, chop a cabbage, then make puff pastry. Because those are two things that I just don't do. I mean, I love cabbage. I eat a lot of cabbage. We chop a lot of cabbage, but there's no point in doing it for this okonomiyaki. So that's about 6 cups of cabbage, coleslaw mix, sorry. And then I'm gonna add some onions because, again, as mentioned, there isn't a chance in hell that Thomas is gonna eat this. So I'm just gonna make it for myself and for Michael, and we will just enjoy it. Hot tip, check your green onions for sand. I think that's actually all right. Green onions are also something I kind of forget about. Why don't I buy green onions every week? I buy yellow onions every week. All right, so we're gonna just whack those up a bit. Now, in the meantime, I'm gonna start preheating this little beauty. So, oh my gosh, something literally just exploded out of my gas stove. Guys, if you know where I live and something explodes in a minute, send an ambulance. I don't think it's gonna be that serious. Couple of green onions here. Okay, so what have I got going on? I feel like I did a lot in the first 6 minutes of our little session here. So I've got my chopped up green onions. I've got my flour, baking powder, and cayenne mixture. I've got 6 eggs, all whisked up with some soy sauce and white vermouth. Oh, sesame oil, sesame oil. So good in this. If I have any left. And yes, the dregs of the sesame oil. There we go. A little bit of sesame oil in there. Okay, so this delightful okonomiyaki, aka cabbage omelet, is going to cook in the stovetop first, and then I'm going to shove it in the oven. So I've got the oven on at 350, and I'm telling you, the cast iron frying pan, truly the best $30 you'll ever spend in your life. If it's even $30, I'm sure, Deborah, you're watching, I'm sure you see these at antique stores and junk shops all the time for cheap, cheap, cheap. Screw the Instant Pot, like get yourself a cast iron frying pan, and that is going to improve your cooking life and give you so many more options. Right, what was I talking about this for? Oh yeah, so cast iron frying pan, it can go on the stovetop and then I can just shove it in the oven. You can't do that with a non-stick frying pan. You just can't because, anyway, you don't want to know. So preheat. You know how I feel about preheating before adding anything. So I'm going to get it nice and hot, and then I'm going to give it a nice, good, generous drizz of plain old-fashioned canola oil. Also, the utensils are all the way over here. And then here's a little small tip. Just like make sure that you kind of spread the oil around so that it gets all over every surface. I did the preheating too soon because I have to mix the flour and the eggs together. So that's the egg mixture. I'm going to chuck in the flour mixture and just whisk that around. So now it's going to almost start to look like, I don't know, crepe batter-ish. And it's going to be really, really lumpy. That's why you get Mr. Whisk. You just get in there and give it some beans. Alrighty. Looking delicious. Not really. Then in goes the coleslaw mix. And then in goes the green onions. And it's all mixed up all together. Now, if you have ever gone out for okonomiyaki, they'll have all sorts of different types. Like you can have it with pork or fish, or you just buy a lot. Good tip, Deborah, that it comes pre-seasoned if you're buying the cast iron frying pan. Agreed. And always read my article in the Toronto Star about how to deal with the cast iron frying pan. I'll post it. I'll post a link in the show notes. I think I just got batter on my face. It's been a bad day for my face. I was working on a story about how to fall in love with plain yogurt, different publication, and I got yogurt all over my glasses, all over my face earlier. Okay, so here we go. See, it's like a mess. It's like barely, you can barely see any of that egg mixture. It's all coated all over the cabbage. So we're going back to the now preheated pan. And fairly hot, so like medium high, you know, go for it, medium high. And I've got that canola oil already in there. And then this whole affair is just gonna go schlop doodle into this here preheated cast iron frying pan. Can I say preheated again? Because man, is it important. If you don't preheat before you put the oil in, and if you don't then get the oil hot before you put the food in, it's just going to be scrambled okonomiyaki. So preheat, and then we're gonna get it in there and flatten it down, and then we'll talk. Okay, so the whole mess. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yes. You didn't know how much you love coleslaw mix until you ate this. Because it's really, really, really delicious. Okay, I'm actually cranking that all the way up to high because I didn't hear a sizzle. Then we're gonna just smooth this out. Now this is a 10-inch cast iron pan. Oh, I don't know if it's actually 10 inches. I say that with the confidence of my convictions, but it is, it's really more like 11. So let's try 10.5 to 11. Cast iron frying pan, I think this is one of the most used pans in my life. I use it on the barbecue. Like I'll put it right on the barbecue and then use a pan on the barbecue. I put it in the oven. I never put it away because I just use it every day. Okay, so this gets a little bit cooked just for a couple of minutes. Nice and hot. Oh, I think I should do a whole series on how to turn a bag of coleslaw mix into dinner. Right? Am I talking about that? I love coleslaw mix. It's already chopped. It's a vegetable that we don't often think about, cabbage, because I feel like otherwise the cabbages just sit there and nobody loves them. I love them. We have 3/4 of a cabbage in our fridge right now. There's a great recipe for cabbage in my book. It is called boiled cabbage with vinaigrette, and I fear that some people might run away screaming, but not as much as when they see the recipe for salmon loaf. Anyway, different story. They're all delicious, people. They're all delicious. So what's happening there is we're just going to get that going, and then once it kind of gets a little bit of a base built up, then I'm going to shove it in the oven. Now then, the best part about okonomiyaki is the sauces. Ha ha ha! It's good in stir fries. Yes, it's great in stir fries. Very good in stir fries. Napa cabbage as well. Anyway, cabbage. Guys, embrace the cabbage. Cabbage is the new kale. Well, actually, cabbage is the original kale. So, there you go. Okay, so this is now starting to sizzle a little bit. Let's give it 2-3 minutes. Oh, Claire's making a mess. Sauces. So, how do you make these two beautiful sauces into something a little bit more Japanese so they can actually be served with okonomiyaki? Okay, well, you get yourself 2 bowls. Get yourself 2 beautiful bowls. 2 beautiful bowls, and into one we're going to squidge a bunch of ketchup. You have no idea what's about to happen right now. This is going to be crazy times. Yes, I'm going to put a recipe up for this. So that's just ordinary Heinz ketchup. Don't buy anything except Heinz, my friends. There is no point. It is the gold standard. Much like Hellmann's mayonnaise, don't buy anything except Hellmann's mayonnaise. Everything else is just trying to be Hellmann's. So you may as well just wait for it to go on sale. Oh, crap. Oh crap. No, look away. Everybody look away. I got mayonnaise in the ketchup. Look away. Nothing happened. Great. Okay, this is starting to sizzle, so I'm going to fire this baby into a 350-degree oven. So it's just bubbling around the edges here. Say night-night to Mr. Okonomiyaki. And I think we're going to call that, I'm going to check on it in 15 minutes. So we will see. But meanwhile, it is 1:14 and we have lots of time to make our delicious sauces. Oh God, I can't believe I got mustard, mayonnaise, and the ketchup. Anyway, I love mayonnaise. Okay, so you take your ordinary mayonnaise. If you've ever had Japanese mayonnaise, which is called Kewpie, you can often find Kewpie mayonnaise here in Toronto, but if you don't want to have to go out and buy Kewpie mayonnaise, you take yourself, this is such a top secret, total hack. Take your mayonnaise, and then you take your seasoned rice wine vinegar. So not the plain stuff that I normally use, but the seasoned stuff, because Japanese mayonnaise is just a little bit sweeter and a little bit sourer, more sour than ordinary mayonnaise. So I'm just gonna put in a couple of little drops of this. People who don't like mayonnaise don't have to use this sauce. People who do like mayonnaise can. I guess that goes without saying. So, oh yeah, it's funny. So just a little bit more. Needs a little bit more to be more sweeter. You know what? I'm actually going to add a pinch of sugar. Pinch of sugar! Just a pinch. And then that will be a kind of a sweet and sour mayonnaise. Is that weird? A little bit weird. So when you go out to an okonomi house, like where you When you go, yes, it is a word, Bruce celery, sourer, more sour. I also have a master's degree in literature, you know, so like, I can make up words, that's allowed. Good. Yeah, so when you go to an okonomi restaurant, and you can order, as I was saying, there's some that have shrimp, some would have pork, some would have chicken in them. You can go vegetarian, some do tofu, you can have bacon ones. And then they always serve on top these two sauces, the mayonnaise sauce and then this sort of ketchup-y sauce, which I'll show you in a second. And then on top of that, you also get freshly shaved katsuobushi, which is this, like, it's cured tuna belly-ish that's shaved. So it's really salty and it's not fishy. Oh my God, it's katsuobushi and it's so good. And that's all part of the okonomiyaki experience. So how do you turn ketchup into okonomiyaki sauce? Okonomiyaki sauce. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Now yes, vegetarians, just keep your pants on. This officially is gonna make this un-vegetarian because we're using Worcestershire sauce. A couple of good glugs of that. So you can either just use the mayonnaise sauce, and you can also just use some hoisin sauce if you're not averse to hoisin sauce. But I've just whisked a little bit of Worcestershire sauce into here. Now anybody who's been to Japan and can tell me what okonomiyaki means, I would be delighted. You know what? You don't even have to have gone to Japan. You might just know. You amazing people might just know. I really should have looked that up before I started this today. Okay. Oh yeah. So basically, what I've taken is the ketchup, which is, you know, sweet and sour, and then I've added some of the salty umami-ness of Worcestershire sauce. You could probably do a little bit of soy as well. Let's see. So I was introduced to okonomiyaki when I worked downtown, and there were very few places for lunch where I worked. It was the strangest thing. Like, I was a young and Bloor-ish, more like Bloor and Church. No place to have lunch, but just on Yonge Street, south of Bloor, there's a place called the Okonomiyaki House, and it's cheap and it's fast and it feels healthy because it's basically just like a huge cabbage pancake covered in cured fermented tuna belly and mayonnaise, ketchup. It sounds so strange. I know it sounds so strange, but trust me. Oh my goodness, look at the mess you've made, Claire Tansey. Anyway, trust me, it's going to be delicious. So I've got my crazy fake Kewpie mayonnaise here, which is just mayo, Hellman's mayo with it. Nobody else is eating this, so I know I've been double dipping my fingers and licking and everything, so I know I'm disgusting. You're disgusted. But truly, isn't the most disgusting thing when someone has their hair down and they're preparing food? I cannot even. The number of these, you know, YouTubers and tasty videos and online people who have their hair down, even hair professionals, even food professionals, people who like work in test kitchens. Put your hair up, people, and take the nail polish off. Okay, calm the motion. Everything's gonna be fine. Did anybody else watch the live Jesus Christ Superstar the other night? Because I have been singing, hey, Zanna, Hosanna, Zanna, Zanna, ever since. Chrissy, hello, can you use Greek yogurt rather than mayo? I would go with no. If you're against mayonnaise, I would just skip it completely and just use the ketchup-y sauce, or don't use any sauce at all. But you need that kind of, you know, that salty kind of unctuousness of mayonnaise. Can you tell that I love mayonnaise? Salty unctuousness. I put it on myself. Listen, my granny used to use it to wash her hair. Gang, it is 1:19 and this thing is not, wasn't it so good? Jesus Christ Superstar. One of my favorite musicals. Anyways, we have come to the end of the 20-minute cooking school. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photograph of my okonomiyaki when it comes out of the fridge. As of yet, nobody's coming through for me. What does okonomiyaki mean? Does it mean cabbage pancake? Because that would make the most sense. In the meantime, I will post a picture and then I'll post a recipe and I hope you enjoy it. And the next time you're at the grocery store, buy coleslaw mix. Forget about your fancy power salad or your kale or your expensive asparagus. No, buy yourself a nice, cheap, nutritious, versatile, delicious bag of coleslaw. You know, right? Like, come on, Well, thank you, Mike. You know how I feel about people with long hair in kitchens. Just don't do it. And don't forget your lovely sauces. That is it. That is it. Thank you for joining me today at this very unusual time, 1 o'clock. If this is a better time, let me know. Doesn't really matter. Next week, I will have my kitchen fan, my extraction hood back. And I think we should probably do something crazy like cook a steak without turning on the fire alarm. It is okay. As you like and grill according to the internet. That's what okonomiyaki means. As you like and grill. There you go, people. As you like it, you can have it off the grill. Thank you so much for joining me on the 20-Minute Cooking School. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.